Welcome back to My Green Montgomery. I'm here at Brookside Gardens where Phil Normandy is joining us to tell us what tips we need to enhance our gardening attempts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, what should we be doing this time of year with our garden?
Well, this is a tricky time of year. It's a little late for some of the really early spring stuff. It's a little bit early to be putting out our summer plants.
So I should not be planting any tomatoes and basils and...
It's probably not completely safe right now. Of course,
even just at seed stage?
Oh, seed stage is okay, but it's so cold right now, nothing's going to germinate. Remember that a lot of our summer vegetable plants and crops are heat lovers. They really perform best in midsummer. Just think about your tomatoes and ripening and so forth. And right now, today at least, it's quite cold, and we are in for a very cool week. So I would say it's probably not safe to put anything out until after the 1st of May. I know you're seeing them in the garden centers, and they're big and they're bushy, and we had a couple of 80-degree days, and it's very tempting to go out there and stuff them in the ground. But just to be on the safe side, I think I'd wait till after May 1st, which is technically our frost-free date.
Okay, and what are the most important things we should do once we do get our plants and we do want to start planting them? I guess the soil is the first thing.
Yeah, if you're planting in an established bed, you just want to turn the soil, loosen it, add compost or other organic matter if you can. That keeps the soil loose and makes it retain moisture, so you don't have to water as much.
With nutrients as well, right?
It is. It's good it provides some nutrients, and it binds up any other nutrients that you might be putting on in the form of fertilizers. During dry periods, starting in May, the soil can dry out very quickly, and so you want to provide about an inch of water a week to these plants to get them going until they get the roots out into the soil. And when they get the roots into the soil, then they're a little more aggressive about finding water than they were when they're just in a little plug.
Like when they're small and they're in their little black containers, how deep should they go in the ground? Should it stay about the same level?
Same level. Very good point. Yeah, don't overbury your plants. I know you can with tomato plants if they're a little leggy because they'll form roots, but in general, if you plant too deeply, it's just sort of suffocating the plant. So keep them at the same level that they were in the pot.
And do you have to immediately water them once you put them in the ground?
Absolutely, you must, because you've already disturbed those roots and you've taken them out of their soil, and so a good drink is the best insurance against wilting.
How important is it to have a lot of plants and trees in our landscape?
I think it's very important because in any urban area, deforestation from building is continuing, of course. And while trees that are left behind are still growing, we're having a net loss. And so any place where we can plant and have room to plant anything that produces oxygen, the better off we are with our greenhouse gas problem. You can help by putting out, if you don't have room for large trees, you can put more shrubs. So the net, it's the net number of leaves where the oxygen is actually made is the important thing for cleansing the environment.
Okay, and when it comes to planting our trees, is there anything I should know about that?
Yes, there is. Trees can be planted best when they're dormant with the leaves off, and that's when the ground is cool and so forth. And so if you're buying a tree that's been dug out of the ground at a nursery, it's called balled and burlap, usually has a burlap bag around it. It's best to plant those in March, April, before they start growing actively. You can still continue to plant them, but it's considered to be a fall or a spring activity. For things that are grown in pots, you can plant them almost any time because you're not sacrificing a lot of roots. You're just taking them out of the pot, spreading the roots, and planting them and watering them. However, the later it gets into summer, the more care they're going to need to get them established, a lot more care to water and so forth. But right now, the garden centers are full of fresh plant material, and it's quite tempting to go out and make your selection now.
Well, I know a lot of farmers are worried about the warmer weather because a lot of their plants were starting to bud earlier than usual. So it's been
crazy. Some things were 4 weeks ahead.
Right.
We should be in peak tulip time, and they're already finished here.
So even though it's cold for us, it's actually good for our plants.
It's good. It slows them down. They sort of got this giant jump when it was 80 degrees, and it wasn't good for them.
Well, thank you very much for all of your tips.
Oh, you're certainly welcome.
And for more information and tips for your garden, go to brooksidegardens.org. Up next, we're going to tell you how your business can take steps to be green and get certified. We'll be right back.